idea in getting this summit together was first mooted when Osama, who heads the Digital Empowerment Foundation, Jayesh at the Department of IT, and we were discussing this issue a while ago, and we were wondering on where we do this conference together, where we will talk about development and IT's role in development. And almost immediately, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan suggested and insisted that we do it here because the DEF has been doing a lot of work in Telangana. The Center for Development Policy and Practice is based here, and we've been looking at this aspect of how IT takes development forward. And in that, we were joined by several people who understand the issue of digital environment, digital democracy, IT for development, and digital empowerment in all its hues. Please do underline the fact that we are here focusing on the digital and the citizenship issues, both issues that are of utmost importance to the country today. In fact, utmost importance to the world today. Given the discussions and the debates that we are having on what constitutes a good digital platform amidst a lot of fake news and misinformation. So how do we ensure that this tiger that we have by the tail is subdued and is understood and is regulated well? On the other hand, the debate on citizenship. What does citizenship mean? What do citizenship rights carry? What are constitutional rights, and what is it that the sovereign power of the state guarantees? But what we start off with is to take us through the journey of how India's richest state in terms of per capita incomes today, a state that has been transformed even as we have been seeing it over the last 10 years or so, in terms of both the aspects. What is remarkable about Telangana's growth over the last 10 years has been that it has grown spectacularly in its economic output. The per capita incomes are the highest in the country now, and in terms of reaching development. So both growth and development have come together. And that can only happen when all stakeholders work in tandem, supported by a state and the private sector. And you can see it if you just see outside the window. You see the state and the private sector and civil society coming together to produce some of the finest infrastructure we have in the country. Leading this, actually designing it building by building and bite by bite has been Jayesh Ranjan, who's been our IT secretary, is one of the most articulate senior bureaucrats we have in the state, and a big friend and patron to the Digital Empowerment Foundation and to CDPP. So Jayesh, we are eager to have you over.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, delegates, invitees, speakers. Greetings to all of you on behalf of Government of Telangana. Since Professor Ahmed has specifically asked me to speak about what have we been doing in Telangana in terms of digital, let me go back in time and share the landscape, the digital landscape, on how it began from 2014. So most of you are aware that Telangana became a new state in June 2014. And when the state became a new state, one of the opportunities was that you are not tied with any legacy. You can start from a clean slate. So we created a very ambitious program, which is called Digital Telangana. The backstory behind creating that program is that as soon as this state was formed, literally within days, we had created a visioning exercise with lots of experts from Indian School of Business, from IIIT, other domain experts. And some of you would be aware that when Telangana was part of the larger state of Andhra Pradesh, there was always a sense of dissatisfaction, deprivation, discrimination. People of this region had always felt left behind. And therefore, when the new state came into being, this question was posed in that visioning exercise, that how do we make up for this lost 6.5 decades? And in fact, our minister, Mr. K.T. Ramarao, who is not here today because of this election that's happening right now, He was there in that exercise and he had posed a question. See, normally when you want to advance something, when you want to do something rapidly, the typical expressions that you use is, how do you fast forward? How do you, if you want to do something even faster, you use the expression, how do you leapfrog? But he used a very evocative expression. He said, how do you pole vault? So how do you literally maybe jump 10 times your height or 20 times your height in a short span of time? And the experts who were present there, they gave many answers, but one common answer which was coming was that technology should be the enabler. Technology should be the game changer. Whatever lost time that you want to recoup, you want to advance, use technology in every possible aspect of your developmental process. So this kind of led us to create a program, to craft a program, which we call Digital Telangana. The whole purpose of that Digital Telangana is to identify opportunities to use technology in various government processes, improving our efficiencies, improving our outreach for the citizens. So anything in which there is a G2C interface, how do you improve it? How do you deliver? How do you improve the delivery using technology? And the program has shaped up quite well. But when we started thinking on those lines that, okay, this is what we intend to do, essentially what we meant was that how do we digitally empower all our citizens? It also became very obvious that if you want to provide digital services, if you want citizens to use digital to his or her advantage, first of all, digital infrastructure has to be laid out. The whole state, as you know, of course, Hyderabad is a big city, but there are also villages, the remote villages, there are kind of villages in forest areas, and so on and so forth. So how do you create digital infrastructure? So in the Digital Telangana program, we created a very strong component of how do you create digital infrastructure. Coincidentally, within a few months of us announcing our Digital Telangana ambition, the national government also introduced a program which is called Digital India. I'm sure all of you are familiar with it. And again, coincidentally, we found that one of the components of Digital India was to provide broadband connectivity. They had a component, it is still undergoing, which is called BharatNet. Like you provide digital connectivity to, in the Government of India's program, the intention is to create connectivity till the Gram Panchayat headquarter. But under our Digital Telangana ambit, we felt that that won't be sufficient. We need to connect each and every household, regardless of where you are located. You could be in a very remote area, inaccessible area. So what we decided was that we will provide digital connectivity to every household. Telangana is a state with 40 million population, which translates roughly to 8 million households. And this is not a small task to connect each and every household, 8 million of them with digital connectivity. And what we decided was that in that, there won't be any compromise. We'll provide optic fiber cable, underground optic fiber cable, right till every household. But one of the reasons why we were encouraged to take such a decision was that our government had also announced in parallel another flagship program, which is to provide piped drinking water to every home. Many of you would be aware that while in our cities, we turn the tap and get piped water, but in the rural areas in particular, you don't get that luxury. You have to go to a common post and fetch water. And of course, there are lots of social issues, social dimensions, etc. So Telangana became the first state in the country to deliver piped drinking water to every household. Subsequently, this program has been replicated by the national government called Har Ghar Jal. But the reason why I'm speaking about that program is that we used something very interesting in a very smart way. So to provide pipe drinking water, 150,000 kilometers of trenches were dug, connecting every home. And we saw that as a great opportunity to put optic fiber cable also in the same trench. If you have to spend money to provide optic fiber cable connectivity to every household, almost 60% of the money is spent just to dig those trenches and then refill them. And we saw this opportunity to save that 60%. So when the Government of India says that you connect till the panchayat, because we are saving so much of money, because the trenches are already available, we decided to connect every household. Again, I'm very proud to share with you, we are in November now. hopefully by August, our target is 15th August. So by 15th August next year, we would have connected each and every household in the state with an optic fiber cable. And that process is going on. Of course, it goes village by village by village. But there is something more interesting to share. This is not to tell you about the optic fiber cable laying activity. That is important. Digital infrastructure is important. But what we realized was, see, let us say we cover a village at some phase. In village after village, the experience was that, let us say I'm an ordinary villager. I live in a simple home. I have just my basic necessities covered. Let us say I went to sleep tonight, and in the morning when I woke up, my neighbor tells me, hey, there is optic fiber cable at your doorstep. We did not find anyone jumping with joy, oh, there is an optic fiber cable, and he's rushing out, he's buying a smartphone, he's investing in a tab, and he's excited beyond imagination. Nothing of that kind happened. In village after village after village, we laid the cable, but I mean, it registers nothing. It kind of, it's just one of the things which is happening without people even understanding what is happening, why is it happening, and so on and so forth. So then that raised a very fundamental kind of question, that all this time, all this effort, most importantly, all these resources that we are going to spend, is it going to remain suboptimal? If people are not going to use it, if people don't feel enthusiastic about it, what is the purpose of doing these kind of things? And obviously this is something which I'm sure bothers many of you. Many of you work on this aspect of digital divide. How is it that the society in an equitable fashion, in an inclusive fashion, benefits from digital? So the same kind of fundamental questions, fundamental challenges were confronting us as well. But then we have started doing something which is yielding very encouraging results. And this is what I want really to highlight during this short address of mine. What we felt was that, and in parallel for the last many years, we have also been promoting social innovation, grassroots innovation, and we realized that many of that innovation which is happening at the grassroots level can also be refined using technology. And in those aspects, we met with considerable success. So the idea which really struck us was that while we are creating digital infrastructure, we are connecting every household with optic fiber cable, let us start providing solutions to people, and particularly solutions to some of the most pressing problems that they have been facing, not just now, but since generations. So what we have now started doing for the last, I would imagine, 4.5 years or so is, see, all of you would know that agriculture is one sector which supports the largest number of rural livelihoods. So we have decided to start running digital programs related to agriculture in a very, very comprehensive manner. We have identified the main crops which are grown in Telangana, which is rice, cotton, maize. We have also studied the entire cycle of operations which a farmer does, right from preparing his fields to obtaining the inputs, to sowing, to managing his crops. If there's some pest attack, taking care of that, then harvesting, storing, doing some primary processing, disposing, in case there is some weather-related challenges, claiming insurance. And we found that in all these steps, there are inefficiencies. And because of these inefficiencies, the farmer is literally losing roughly between 30% to 70% of what he could have otherwise gained. And again, in this, there is a huge difference between large farmers and small and mid-scale farmers or marginal farmers. The losses, the opportunities missed is much more in the case of the small farmer and the marginal farmer. So what we have now done is that we have tried to identify what are the technology options which are available to plug in all these inefficiencies, to improve his production, to improve his productivity, to reduce his losses in a comprehensive way, to improve his incomes. And we have been able to identify 80 plus technologies. And we are identifying only those technologies which are easy to understand, easy to implement, affordable, accessible. And we have created an inventory of those 80 plus technologies. And with the help of our agriculture university, we first try them out in the agriculture university's farms, in the agriculture university's fields. And once we are confident that this is a solution which will work well across seasons, across the geography of Telangana, Then we are rolling it out amongst the farmers with special focus on the small and the marginal farmers. And as of now, of the 80 solutions that we have identified, approximately 18 have been kind of rolled out. I'll give you one interesting example, one interesting anecdote. We have rolled out one solution which is related to pests, and pest attacks are very common on the cotton crops here. Literally every second year or every third year, there'll be a very serious pest attack, and almost half the crop will be damaged. So we identified a technology solution in which you just need to take the image of the crop at different stages, not when the pest has attacked, but let us say when the crop is just flowering, and then at the next stage and at the next stage. And using an algorithm, the solution predicts whether a pest attack will come or not. So you're better prepared, you take advanced action, and so on and so forth. So the solution was tested in the Agriculture University, and it was working well. We decided to roll it out, and we decided to launch this. See, this unfortunately, or for whatever reason it happens, that you have to do a formal inauguration, a formal launch. And so we decided to do it in our minister's constituency. His constituency is a place called Sirsila. And we invited the minister to come and launch that app because this is something very useful for the farmers. So while the minister was on the way, we had all gone there, we were ready. There was a stage like this. And the startup, the solution was procured from a startup. The startup which had done this solution, some of their folks were also present. And they were trying to kind of set up the screen and connect their laptop. And the person who had come on behalf of that startup, apparently he was not very familiar. He was not the tech person. He was some salesperson or a business development person. So he was fumbling with his screen. He was not able to kind of load it up properly. And then I noticed, I was also there, there was one farmer who was sitting amongst the audience. He started guiding this person from there. That don't click that button, click that, there'll be a drop-down menu. On that you click cotton, and then this will come. So this person followed his instructions, and exactly the way that person was advising, the screen became live. And then of course the minister came, he inaugurated, went away. But I was very curious to know. So I thought that obviously by looks you can't be very certain, but he did not seem to be a person who is very educated, who has too much of command over technology. So my guess was that maybe his son is someone in the IT sector. In Hyderabad, as you know, close to 1 million people work in the IT sector. Many of them are from rural areas. So I imagine that his son may be kind of helping him out or making him understand. So after the event, I kind of walked up to him. I asked him that how come you know so much about this application and all. So he mentioned something very interesting. He confessed that he's a simple person, doesn't have any great education or anything, is not familiar with gadgets, doesn't understand technology. But what he told us was that over the last few weeks, some kind of a preparatory work is going on in our village, what we call a soft launch. Before the dignitary comes and inaugurates, there is some kind of a soft launch. So he told us that he has been participating in this soft launch. And because this is such a vital thing for him and for the rest of the villagers, they face this pest attacks, they continue to lose crops, they continue to lose incomes. And he realized that this is a solution which will work well for them. And therefore, during the soft launch, when the startup folks would be telling them what to do, how to use that app, he paid attention, he learned that. So that is the real message, that if you are able to solve the real problems, the real pain points of the people before their eyes and show the link of technology, the buy-in will be very, very, very strong. And tomorrow, whatever you want to deliver from the top, you want to deliver citizenship, you want to deliver democracy, you want to deliver whatever else you want to, if that receiving mechanism is created through their buy-in by solving actual live problems of theirs, not hypothetical issues, agriculture problems, healthcare problems, education problems. And this is what we have experienced in Telangana. And this is how the entire fulcrum of Digital Telangana, from being a infrastructure-driven program that you focus on providing OFC connectivity to every home. Of course, that goes on. And as I said, we are now at a very advanced stage. But in August next year, we'll be able to go live in every homes. But while that happens, it is maybe 100 times more important to show to a common person how does technology work for him, how to make it simple, how to make it affordable, how to make it accessible. And if all of us, all the stakeholders can do so, then as I said, a very strong receiving mechanism will be created. If you want to challenge fake news, if you want to tackle misinformation, whatever you want to do, citizens' buy-in will be there. Otherwise, they will just feel that something strange is happening and it just kind of passes them by. So I hope that there are many people whom I personally admire. They're all coincidentally sitting on this table. So I look forward to listening to all of you, but good wishes for the success of this edition of the DCS, the Digital Citizen Summit. And once again, warm welcome to all of you to Hyderabad. Thank you very much.